I got to talk about the Tigers.
Whoa. Folks, you got to understand, as Smitty announced, he
I'm
was
rattled.
in the fetal position. He has been trying to hide from this podcast for the last 6 weeks.
Hey, I didn't get a whole lot of text messages from you begging to be on this.
Last 2 weeks, I'm like, we're going to pod this week? You're like, oh, I'm having a bulldozer come out to the home. I'm adding a floor. There's a lot of excuses.
Work.
Yes,
right.
this guy has been hiding.
Yeah.
He's resurfaced, popped out of the sewer, peeked around.
Popped out with my October Ready t-shirt.
Well, that's
season.
That's debatable if they are October ready based on the last 6 weeks. But
it is September 30th. They may play one game in October. They're guaranteed one game in October tomorrow.
But yeah, go ahead and take it away, buddy.
Okay. Well, like I mentioned in the intro, the Tigers and the whole state of Michigan, city of Detroit are entering these playoffs in a very different mood as how they entered the playoffs last season. Even though the Tigers have one more win on the season, they won 87 games this year. How they got there was brutally different. Tigers came out of nowhere last season after the All-Star break. Really, in August, they just went on a crazy tear using pitching chaos, getting just enough run support, not a whole lot of starting pitching because everyone was hurt, and an incredible bullpen. This season, the Tigers were the best team in baseball for the majority of the season. They were 45-25 over their first 70 games. Next 70 games, they were 35-35, exactly 500, but they still had that 20 games over 500 cushion going into September. Unfortunately, they went 7-17. Actually, in their last 22, if we want to do this right, it's 7-15. But they were 7-17 over the span of September, which our friend Bob Nightingale pointed out is the absolute worst September record any team that has made the playoffs has ever had in the history of baseball since the start of the World Series era.
Wow.
So you could parse the numbers other ways. I've seen the 2000 New York Yankees entered 3-13 in their last 16, which is what the Tigers are doing, and they won that World Series. So you can look to that. Of course, that was the end of the tail end of a dynasty that we have not seen the likes of since. Those fucking Yankees teams. Hard to predict that going forward for the Tigers, but I will be watching. I've been listening to Detroit Sports Talk Radio, all this time, but all morning. People are calling in. They don't even want to watch the game. They're like pissed off they even made the playoffs. I'm like, you are fucking losers. I think they're mainly football fans that got involved in baseball when the Tigers were so good the first half of the season and didn't understand the ebbs and flows, weren't prepared. I guess no one could really be prepared for this swoon. I certainly was not. The culprits are, familiar to everyone. They're not getting timely hitting, and they're getting decent starting pitching, but the bullpen has been nothing like it was last year. It's been frustrating, and they've had chances. The few chances they have, the pitching falls apart in the end. It's just been a confluence of crazy events. Tigers had several, even 2 weeks ago, Tigers had a chance to lock up the division against the Guardians because they had 6 games left against them. And people are talking about, if the Tigers sweep, their magic number will be 0 by the end of 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, they lost 5 of 6 to the Guardians, and they got swept by the Braves in between those 2 series, which that was a crazy series too. But in both cases, Tigers are getting killed by the number 9 hitters in everyone's lineup, like Rocchio for the Guardians. Nacho Alvarez destroyed the Tigers for the Braves. I mean, who are these people? Reminds me of Marco Scudero, which I just have to bring it up because this is how I feel about how these things are playing out. Scooble's going today. He has lost his last 2 games against the Guardians, and the 3 biggest last games of Scooble versus the Guardians have not ended well, as he lost game 5 in the ALDS last year, and then these 2 games. The last game, they were cruising. He was cruising along. Gave up a couple infield hits in the 6th inning, and then accidentally hit David Fry in the face on a bunt attempt. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Okay, that was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Uh, Inside pitch, it was just confluence of events again. David Fry was leaned in and crouched down for a bunting attempt. Ball may or may not have grazed off his bat, but it hit him right in the fucking nose, 96 miles an hour, right in the face. And he went down in a bloody mess. Scooble immediately threw his hat off and his glove down when he saw it. He looked visibly ill. Uh, and he ended up Fry's okay. He's got a broken nose. It just looked awful and really fucking scary. And Scooble shits the bed after that. Just he tried to pull a Burley at one point where there was another infield hit. Scooble tried to throw to first base between his legs like a long snapper. Of course, that went into he wasn't nearly as good at it as Burley was, because it went into right field. But just a crazy confluence of events. So the only thing I'm hoping for here is the Tigers, have the reset button. They clinched a playoff berth on Saturday in Boston, which is a miracle. Um, they had a chance at still winning the division on Sunday, but didn't really throw out a lineup that was trying to do that, because all Cleveland had to do was just win their game, which they did in extra innings, of course, in game 162. So Tigers are playing in Cleveland today instead of playing in Detroit. It sounds like there's a bunch of playoff tickets available in Cleveland, which is kind of odd. I'm wondering if a similar thing would be true in Detroit, just because it's such a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Um, I don't know. It's weird. I'm entering October in a very, very strange way.
Word Hole Media.